You'll see a lot of times notation says f of x equals something, right? It's kind of like it looks like a regular old equation. But the parentheses part doesn't mean multiply. This isn't f times x, okay? This means, this is in English, f of x. And this right here means f of 8. That means you plug in 8 for x, because that's replacing the letter x in that notation. Plug in 8 for x and see what it spits out for y. So what's the y value when x equals 8? If we look at the table, here's x equals 8. The y value is 5. Let's see what other questions there are here. We just did something like that. So this means plug in 0 into, so if you plug in 0 in for x, you get out 1 for y. So given the function h of q, solve for h of q equals 1. This means you're supposed to plug 1 in this part over here. The y value equals 1. Okay, so let's take this and then we'll I'll help you solve it. Okay, so they said h of q equals 1, so I'm putting in 1 for the y value and then I'm going to solve for q. This is a fourth root. It means everything's being raised to the 1/4 power. So to undo that, I'm going to raise both sides of the equation to the 4th power. Okay, but when you do that, it's the same thing as when you square both sides to get rid of a square root. You have to consider both positive and negative. Okay, so I'm canceling out a fourth root. I'm canceling out an even power. That means I need to consider positive or negative 1. Actually, sorry, that doesn't matter. That usually matters. It doesn't matter in this case because q is going to be inside a fourth root, so q has to be a positive number. So I made it more complicated than it needed to be. Okay, we got rid of the fourth root by raising it to the 4th power, and 1 to the 4th power. Luckily, that's nice and easy. It's just 1. So subtract 11 from both sides. Divide both sides by 4. We get q equals negative 2.5, or that'd be negative 5 halves. I don't know which one they want. Let's try negative 5 halves, keeping it as a simplified fraction. Come back. There we go. Okay, so this section is just about getting used to function notation. This one says h of 2. That means you're plugging in 2 where the t goes in the h of t notation. So you're plugging in t in for 2. So 2 squared is 4, and then apply the negative sign. This is negative 4 subtracted by 4. That makes negative 8. Negative 8 subtracted by another 4 makes negative 12. So if you wanted to do that out slower, that just plug 2 in for t. Just watch your signs there. Okay, they give us a graph. They're asking us to find out what y value we get when x equals negative 2, because this is where x goes in the function notation. So here's where x equals negative 2. The y value is a positive 4. Okay, I think that's, this one is asking us to solve for f of x when x equals 2. Okay, so what that means is the y value needs to equal 2. Here's y equals 2. There's 2 places where we get y equals 2. If you follow across this horizontal line, y equals 2 here, and y equals 2 here. So it equals 2 at negative 1 and at negative 4. So we can put that with a comma. Negative 4 and negative 1. Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah, we've done one of each type here.